lip. But I want to show you, when I worked at Bloomingdale's, I got 2 lipsticks. They had a really cool sale, and what they do is they let employees get, it's not used lipstick, it's new lipstick, but like it's the ones that they let the employees buy. So does this say, okay, this is Dior Addict. I'm going to try this. I've had it on in a video that I did for the Chardonnay drinks, and I'll put that in the description. And this is Yves Saint Laurent. And I don't know. Oh, here's the information at the bottom. Okay, here it goes. So I'm going to put these on and let you guys see. So I'm taking off the Dollar Tree lip balm, which I love. I'm going to tell you, like, I did a video with the Dior Addict on, and I thought it was too much. But this is beautiful for $1.25. So I wanted to show you guys that and tell you guys that when I worked at Bloomingdale's, they had this great sale, and they let their employees buy like their like lipstick brands and so forth. And I went there, and it was like so much fun. So what I'm going to do is pause this, take this off. I should really do it all on camera. Should I? I think I am. So what I'm going to do, since I don't have a tissue nearby, I have to get a tissue. Or should I put it on top? So I could do everything on camera. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll put it right on top so you guys can see as I'm doing it, so that you guys know that I'm not like switching anything out. Okay, let's see. How come I can't pull this up? Okay, here it is. So here's the color before you see it on me. And now I'm going to put it on. I'm going to put it right over the lip balm. I'm wondering if that would be better, because I find that the lip balm is really good for my lips. You see, it's kind of bright. So this, I have another color that's darker. Let me see if I can, I'm going to go like this so you guys can see. It's kind of bright, don't you think? I think it's kind of bright. Now this color is a darker color. This is the Yves Saint Laurent. And you can see it was brand new. All I did was try it. So you can see. And I'm going to put it on and see. Let me bring it closer. What do you guys think? I'm going to just check the mirror to see. And I'm going to mix it with just by rubbing my lips together. I think that's better. So I don't have the chat on, but if you guys want to leave a comment, which one you like better? Do you like just the plain lip balm from the Dollar Tree, which is LA Colors? Oh, I have a strand of hair on that. That's my hair. The Dior Addict Extreme Sunset Boulevard. And then when I mixed in the Yves Saint Laurent, let me just show you the color again. So I kind of like it mixed. When I was working, this is exactly what I did. I would take a lip color and mix it together so that I could kind of make my own lip color. And what I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to pause this for a second. I'll come in close so you can see the color. And I'm going to fix it. I'll go to the mirror and fix it and show you how I would do it when I was at work. But it's kind of nice as it is. But I want to give you how I would make it look when I was going to work. So I'm going to see how can I do this. Okay, guys, so I'll show you how I did it for work. Just want to make sure I have this right. Okay. So how I did it is I go like this, I put more on, and then I go like this in the middle. So what I would do is I would put more lipstick on, rub my lips together, and then like so that I have that little bit of, you see that look? I go like this, and it removes some of the lipstick. So that's how I did it. So I call this lipstick and life, this video. So I want to talk about the Gangstalking in life and how I'm really trying to do something, get back to work, even a little bit. It's important to me. So they said that will take me away from their brand. Well, it would take me away from them. I'm going to back up just a little bit. So as I was finding clothes just to put on so I can start to get myself back into just getting dressed and getting ready for work, I found something that I'm going to show you in a different video. I talked about going to the Goodwill bins in Long Island City, and I think they're still open, but I found this really pretty black top, and it's from Colin Lopez, who's on HSN, who I love. So I'll probably in a different video wear it. It's kind of big on me, but I'm going to try to see if I can make it fit. So I wanted to let you guys know that. And of course, when I was getting ready and trying to pick what I was going to wear today, this came from Macy's. They were trying to figure out where I bought different things, and they were guessing. I have another top that I was going to wear, but I couldn't find it comes in separate pieces, and one of the separates is long and one is short with like a little, I love anything that has this type of shoulder because I think it's flattering. So I couldn't find it, so I just went with this instead. And plus I said I would do the lipsticks. So what I was going to tell you about with the Gangstalking is this. Since they're doing this surveillance and they're talking all the time, it's like now they're upset because they feel like if they're being recorded, you would realize that they're not giving me any ideas. They're just trying to pretend that this was always happening. So they're confused by why I would want to go back to work to get away from them. I know it's confusing to them, but that's part of what I'm saying. I'm talking more about their mindset than I feel I am my own. When I'm telling you how they came up with all of these tactics, and it matches back to a system that they had in communist countries, and then they happen to be from those communist countries, that means it's not my mind. It means, how would I know any of this? How would I have experienced any of these things? So they said that that's exactly what they wanted to be. I think, they needed someone who's American to kind of make this seem normal. It's so abnormal. So they are offended that I'm turning my life into an American brand. But I really do have an American life. Like, my life story is American. It's not communist. So why that offends them is because if you can do things in America that you can't do anywhere else, and then a system that's communist is brought to America, we're not going to do it. We're not going to we're not going to fall for it. It's not going to be something that can work here. It's a system that they're trying to put into this country over a system where we have the freedom to talk about it. So when they're saying, oh, they don't want me to talk about this, they don't want me to record, now they don't want me to record myself. Now they said they're going to cut me off when they don't like what I'm saying. That is an American. If you are so confident that this was always happening, and this is what I'm trying to explain, I'm talking to them. You notice how sometimes I just have to talk to them for a second. If they're so confident that this was always happening, why don't they want it to continue to happen this way? Oh, because it wasn't always happening. This was a fake system that they brought into my life in 2016. And they even said it's matching up with a lot of other things that happened in the world in 2016. It does. So when you're talking about creating a fake system that matches up with other people's lives, that horrible things that happened in 2016, we start to say, well, why? Why did it happen? And why wasn't this stopped? And how come now you have people who have the ability to verify um our videos in terms of saying yes, that does happen, and it's not just me saying it, other people saying it, and they can verify yes, this is a system. Why did it take so long? It's been a decade of this. And partially what I think happened was too much happened at one time. They kept using a word that people used in the videos that I watched. It's like the Stasi did this system, and it was meant to make you fall apart. I think they call it decomposition or something like that, meaning you just fall apart. And so over the decade of this happening to me, I feel like some parts of me did fall apart. But in order for this to have continued in America, it has to keep falling apart, because we do have this ability. One thing that they were doing to people in Eastern Germany was they make you so paranoid you can't check anything. Well, we have this ability to record stuff, and then you can put it out, and people can say, "Oh, I see that. Oh, I understand this." They didn't have that, and in certain countries, they still don't have that ability. They're still trying to connect to other people. The other thing that we have that they didn't have was the ability to go to different law enforcement. So you might have a corrupt law enforcement in your area, but you can go to a different law enforcement. Every person in law enforcement isn't going to be corrupt. And there are going to be people who say, there's something wrong. I notice what you're noticing. So when they're upset, and I don't know why it upsets them that in America it's harder. It's hard because we have these freedoms. I think it's because they don't want us to have these freedoms. It's like, it feels like I'm fighting them. So when they were saying at one point, you see, I changed the name to my name, and they were like, now we can't all take credit for it. Oh, not if I'm fighting you. And I'm talking to them directly. I can't understand why anyone, even the people who are upset that we're exposing this, don't they realize that once one group gets affected by the system, eventually they're going to hurt those people also. Then you're not going to, it's not going to be like I'm the only one who's going to be affected by it. Eventually it'll spread. And as I'm watching these tactics spread through AI, through I don't know what they're called when you go online and you play those games, those video games with other people. Eventually it'll spread. So if the tactics they're using on me in the privacy of my own home start spreading online, and people say, well, that's the same tactic. Oh, that sounds like this, or that sounds like that. So that's the difference between being American and being someplace where it's a communist country and there aren't these freedoms. So the other big reason why I'm saying that I'm fighting with the people doing this to me, meaning they're the ones who are doing it, is that if they wanted credit, they should have, instead of fighting me and having me have to prove everything, they should have been helping me. But they said then it would connect right back to them. That's my point. That's why their names aren't on this, because they didn't want this to ever get out. They didn't want this to ever be revealed. This was supposed to be a secret way of them destroying American freedoms. So they said, well, how come I believe in America this way and I'm Black? Because if as bad as things are for Black people, in America, we have a chance, we have opportunities, and we've been successful, and they resent us for that. That was something, I don't know how many months ago they started to explain. And now I'm able to just, search and find other people saying the same thing, that they feel like Black success in America is like, it's a threat. It's not a threat. We're part of what makes this country successful. We're part of the economy. We're part of, when anyone in any other country says you're American, oh, and they'll name a whole lot of people and many Black people. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to talk about Black people and leave out American successful Black people, then you're not talking about America. And I think that's something that was different in other countries where this works versus here. In America, you have a lot of Black people. You have Black people who are successful. I'm not talking about celebrities. I'm just talking about just regular Black successful people. And that's part of this. Every time I talk about something, they said it's about celebrities. I don't. This is why I'm wondering, well, why did they focus so much on celebrities? And I think it's because this is a system that they probably used on celebrities to keep them quiet, to get credit for the celebrities' work, to sue, make money. But I think also in communist countries, it's you wouldn't have that level of fame that celebrities have here. And that's another difference between how it works in the United States and how it worked in East Germany. So they're upset about something, but I'm not really interested in why they're upset by that. I think that once we start going over how gangstalking affected Americans, and you listen to how they describe what happened, it wasn't like they couldn't, the people doing it couldn't take over everything at once. So they did a little at a time. So it wasn't like everything fell apart. It was, phases where you went from one phase to another phase. But every time in America something falls, something else gets built up. So now there are a lot of people doing videos, keeping themselves exposed, and in the process exposing the people doing this. By me doing these videos, they're talking in the background, they're adding comments. That's exposing the system, trying to keep me from working. Well, what's the benefit of them keeping me from working? They said, because meaning I was never supposed to recover from this. I was never supposed to get better. And what I'm saying is that the more I fight to get better, the more they fight to keep me from getting better. But if I can just show you that I'm trying, and I've done the same thing before, where I've shown you I'm trying to get back to work, I'm doing the best I can, and all of a sudden, it's just like quickly they do something to they said sabotage. They do something to sabotage it because they don't want me to go back to work. But I've shown you guys repeatedly that is the tactic. The tactic is to destroy everything that's important to you. And what I've done, and I've just by showing you this, I've had a lot of fun on my jobs. I enjoyed what I did. So the lie they had was that, oh, you didn't like work. You know what I mean? So that's part of this. They said they don't like my speech. Well, my speech isn't going to be what it used to be. We already know that. But that's part of the criticism. So that was supposed to be in my head. Clearly in my head, I feel like my speech is fine. But that's part of the voices, that little voice that tells you they weren't supposed to say it that way. They're supposed to phrase it more like, oh, your speech is off or something like that. So I would feel like I'm thinking that, even though that wasn't what I was thinking. But part of this is exposing the little voice in your head is done by criminals who do it to keep you insecure, feeling strong emotions that will make you act out, would make me say, well, boy, I know my speech isn't what it used to be. I'm too old, or I'm disabled. No, it's not. I feel like I'm doing the best I can. They say, don't I think someone will think I'm drunk? No, they know I'm not drunk. So they said, what about someone openly mocking me? Clearly it doesn't work. Clearly that doesn't work. So they said, now they're yelling out. They're yelling out the window so other people can hear. What else? What else would you like to contribute? Anyway, so that's part of this. Part of this is that if I am trying to work and they created this system where they insert themselves or come by my job a lot, it would affect my work. They were upset that if I'm filming myself and you guys hear me talking to them, it would seem like they're trying to sabotage me. But that is the point of this. The point is to sabotage me. The point is to say, look, she's not what she was. She's not able to work. I am. I'm the person saying that. So this is part of what I'm explaining. So what I'm saying is that, of course, I will get sick again, but even this to me is a job for me, being on YouTube. Why they want to stop my views is because they're embarrassed and they're ashamed of their actions. Why they want to limit the people who can watch this is not because I would be ridiculed, but they will be ridiculed. I had videos from years ago now, because I was doing this since 2019, where people are finding the older videos and they hear this and they see what's happening. And I'm saying it never stops. This was nonstop all this time. So do I worry that some employers may not want to hire me if my speech gets worse over time? Like, I've been doing this, I think it says 24. Yeah. I think they're messing up my screen. 24 minutes, almost 25 minutes. And my speech is going down. But I'm doing this publicly so employers can see that I can probably speak some days for longer and other days for less time. But I'm trying. And it doesn't make me look drunk. So the other point I want to make was about, I did a video on the Shamega J channel called Delusions and how targeted individuals develop paranoia from the V2K voices. What they did today was they had a whole conversation with the elementary school mate, and I'm telling everybody, the worst thing that can ever be done to her is to keep her around me. It doesn't work. They did it to abuse her, and she knows that. Take her out of this program. You are taking advantage. The people running this program do not care about her. The worst thing they did was to keep her around me, because this was a way of creating an artificial relationship. And that will keep this delusion and the paranoia going. In order for that to stop, we got to go our own separate ways. We're too old not to. And that's something big that I want to get across. I want to get across the fact that people naturally go to their own groups, associate with their own people, grow up and grow out of the idea that everyone's meant to get along. That works with school children. It doesn't work in the real world and with real relationships. They wanted me to come across like fictional, like a fictional character, pretending that everyone gets along and everyone, that whole idea that in this world everyone is the same kind. No, that's a lie. And even in New York, if you notice, that doesn't work here either. Yes, it's a city with diversity, but we have our own groups and our own people and our own families and our own lives. Forcing people who don't get along to be associated with each other is phony. It's fake. It's meant to create a delusion. And that delusion is being shown to be just that in reality. You look at reality and you say, why don't those groups get along? Because those groups weren't supposed to get along. Those people should have separated years ago. Someone just said that's like divorce. Exactly. You know, part of this is me talking to Gen X, which I hope I'm talking to. And when we were growing up, our grandparents used to tell us the same thing. Somehow, you know, over the years, people want them to be wrong. People want our grandparents to seem like they were nuts. They were very smart people. They didn't have fancy degrees or fancy life experiences, but they were very smart people. And they told us this stuff. And they told us, when you're, you know, let people go. You know, don't keep holding on to relationships that aren't working. Someone said, wow. And that's part of what I miss about my grandparents' generation. And that's the generation which is called the greatest generation, because they grew up during the depression. And when they were growing up during the Depression, things were hard, but they managed to make their lives work. And they would teach you all sorts of wonderful things about survival, but thriving too, and enjoying life, enjoying what you had. And that generation always said, if someone isn't for you, let them go. Stop forcing yourselves on people who don't want you. And they also talked about knowing who you belong with. And they would say it. They said it in so many ways. Right now, I can't think of one of the sayings. But growing up, that kid isn't for you. Or that's not the one for you. You'll find your one. There was a song like that about, meaning that person wasn't for you. You're going to find who's for you. And they kept telling us that. And I'm trying to say, for the people running this program in New York City, you're abusers. You're abusing people because you know better. Because your one for you is not the one who doesn't want you. And I feel that same way. So when they're coming up with, they came up with all these imaginary things. Oh, I did this, I did that, just to stay in my life. Please leave my life. I don't want you. And that is something that if the grandparents' generation were here, they would say the same thing. And I want to just say one quick other thing about that. Why I think it doesn't work in America is because we do have that. We do have the belief that when something isn't working out, it's okay to leave. You can quit a job, you can leave a relationship, you can leave things. No one should be following you and forcing you to be with them. That's stalking. And this is a stalker system, and that's partially why I fight every day with this system, because the more surveillance we have in this country, the more stalkers will use it. The more AI we have in this country, the more stalkers will abuse it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your comments.